This is the largest crocodile ever captured by mankind. At only 50 years old, it had reached 6.17 meters. When starved, it weighed a colossal 1.075 tons. The reason for its capture: suspected man-eating. However, when this leviathan was hauled ashore on September 3, 2011, fisherman Roy Degas bluntly stated it was too small. This was absolutely not the crocodile that attacked them. Nevertheless, villagers forcefully inserted a thick hose into the giant's gullet, relentlessly pumping water, thrusting a black wooden pole to induce vomiting. Tortured beyond endurance, the crocodile regurgitated meals from months prior. Yet, no human bones or hair were discovered. Transferred to an eco-park, the giant displayed no overt aggression toward humans, revealing they had captured the wrong beast. Freedom did not await this titan. Instead, it faced over a year of confinement in the eco-park. Due to severe mismanagement, this young giant perished on February 10, 2013, succumbing to fungal pneumonia, complicated by congestive heart failure and multiple organ.
No problem.
The chip killed my friend! Please! He ripped her face off!
He ripped her face off? Why are you saying that she's dead?
She's dead, he ripped her apart! Everything!
He ripped her apart?
Listen! She's dead! She's dead!
One Philippines. Here, pursuing an education is fraught with peril. To attend school, villagers must paddle dugout canoes to the opposite town, forcing the student of the Agusan Marsh to navigate their fragile canoes through waters teeming with the world's largest crocodilians, saltwater crocodiles. According to rough estimates, the saltwater crocodile population in the Agusan Marsh numbers in the thousands. Yet, for many years, incidents of man-eating were unheard of, until March 7, 2009. 11-year-old Rowena and her friend Aisel were returning from school, paddling their dugout canoe through the Agusan Marsh. Suddenly, they were ambushed by a massive saltwater crocodile, rowing directly into the depths. The fisherman escorting them, Roy Degas, the predator, was unthinkably colossal. In a fraction of a second, Rowena vanished. Degas acted swiftly, grabbing the surviving Aisel and fleeing the river. We can observe deep tooth marks on the survivor's canoe, indicating it did not solely target Rowena. It was probing its prey. Rowena's dugout canoe was in half by the beast. These canoes are carved from solid, engineered to withstand extreme impact, confirming the sheer, terrifying scale of the attacker. As the news spread, panic gripped the entire village, fearful of becoming the giant's next victim. But why? When a man-eater emerged, did the villagers not organize a hunt? Because historically, driven by the leather trade, Southeast Asia's saltwater crocodiles were hunted to the brink of extinction. Consequently, since 1994, the crocodiles of the Agusan Marsh have enjoyed strict legal protection. Without explicit government authorization, culling is strictly forbidden. Thus, the villagers lived in terror for an entire year, but as no further attacks occurred, consistency slowly returned. They resumed playing in the water and fishing in the river. Then, tragedy struck again. On June 13, 2011, the second incident unfolded. A fisherman, Daniel from Shinera, met his end in the jaws of the beast. Only then did the Manila government realize the gravity of the crisis, authorizing the live capture of the killer. To this end, Manila dispatched wildlife expert Ronnie Summerler, along with WPRCC members, to coordinate the hunt. Clearly, they had underestimated the giant's weight. During their first trap setup, they used steel cables to suspend meat from shoreline branches, assuming the crocodile would snare itself upon biting. Yet, when they returned the next morning, every single trap had been obliterated. The steel cables snapped. Surveying the sheer devastation, Ronnie Summerler finally realized the village hadn't exaggerated. This beast was unimaginably colossal. Thus, Summerler enforced the cable thickness, deploying traps across multiple probable locations, such as river crossings, bends, and village access points. Yet, the Leviathan shattered them all. Ronnie Summerler continuously upgraded steel gauges, until weeks later, on September 3, 2011, one of Summerler's traps finally secured a hold on the giant. He urgently rallied over a dozen men to haul the crocodile ashore. The beast didn't budge. The immense aquatic resistance nearly allowed it to break free. Soon even on to assist, a full 60 men gripping the steel cable, igniting a multi-hour tug-of-war with the monster. Ultimately, the aquatic titan lost the battle. 60 men dragged it onto dry land. The crew hastily lashed thick ropes around its massive jaws, securing its head and torso, then wrapping it in protective burlap. Seeing the monster captured, smiles erupted across the villagers' faces. Some even mounted the giant for photographs. Finally, it took dozens of men straining together to heave it onto a truck. It is said the truck's tires instantly flattened under the immense weight. During the field measurement, Lolong's length was recorded at 6.4 meters. Later, at the eco park, the official measurement was 6.17 meters. This discrepancy occurred because a suspended tail, driven by sheer muscle mass, stretches the intervertebral spaces, add official length to the tail. Hence the variation in results. If a 6-meter crocodile stood upright, it would rival a 2-story house in height. For such a predator, swallowing a human whole is effortless. The gathered villagers felt a mix of relief and joy, believing that with the man-eater caught, they could safely resume schooling and fishing, free from paralyzing fear. However, recalling the night of March 7th, 2009, the fisherman who escorted Rowena, Roy Dargus, grew increasingly terrified. He stated bluntly, this was not the beast that devoured Rowena, that crocodile was significantly larger. This sent chills through those who listened. There may be inaccuracies due to poor visibility at night. Dargus's testimony wasn't entirely conclusive. Expert Ronnie Sumiller decided to perform a gas lavage on Lolong. If human bones or hair were in Lolong's stomach, all doubts would be definitively resolved. Under Ronnie's supervision, ensuring no harm came to Lolong, villagers inserted a thick black hose in Lolong's jaws, preventing the gaping maw from snapping shut and ruining the flush. Then, using a dark wooden pole to prod alongside the hose, they pumped in massive volumes of water. Subjected to the deal, the crocodile purged the ancient contents of its stomach. Ronnie meticulously inspected the regurgitated debris, finding 0 human bones or hair. Concluding this giant was not the man-eater. How, to avoid inciting panic among the locals, he withheld revelation at the time. Under Ronnie's direction, villagers proceeded to weigh Lolong. The scales revealed Lolong, completely starved, weighed 1.075 tons. Subsequently, the orders of the Manila government, Lolong was shipped to an eco-park 11 kilometers away. This move brought a massive flux of tourism revenue. Tourists from across the globe swarmed in. Even locals used bread, baked into crocodile shapes, to cater to the tourists' amusement. In just a few short months, it brought one of the poorest Philippine towns over $11,000 tourism revenue. However, the eco-park became Lolong's deathbed. Shortly after Lolong's arrival, Dr. Adam Britton rushed to the scene, conducting precise clinical measurements. His research team administered muscle relaxants, then examined his cranial rugosity, the health of his dental alveoli, and the height of his dorsal scutes. Based on these physical indicators, Lolong's is estimated at 50 to 60 years. The team mounted the giant's back to secure the measuring tape, conducting a formal, scientific measurement. The official length, 6 meters. Vent length, 2.74 meters. Furthermore, Lolong's body was virtually unblemished. Such pristine condition in an apex predator drove the world into a frenzy, all desperate to behold his majestic form. But the park management, to satisfy endless streams of tourists, daily subjected Lolong to prolonged exposure on dry land, with highly erratic water-changing schedules. He was a colossal predator, Erratic drainage and the relentless disturbance of massive crowds drove the terrifying giant into a hunger strike. Yet, the park management paid no heed. Later, crocodile expert Mark visited the park to observe Lolong. He immediately noticed the beast's deteriorating state. Without intervention, Lolong's death was certain. He demanded the park immediately cease the frequent drainings and provide adequate water depth, preventing his massive weight from killing his organs. He also insisted on constructing a roof to shield him from the scorching sun. The park administrators rejected every proposal. Lolong was their ultimate cash cow. Implementing these changes would cut off their lucrative revenue stream. Ultimately, Lolong paid with his life for the park's greed and myopia. On February 10, 2013, park staff suddenly found Lolong lying on his back, his abdomen severely bloated. They frantically summoned a veterinarian. Hours later, Lolong was pronounced dead. Experts point out that animal attacks are often the concentrated eruption of the stress of captivity. And tragedies born from keeping apex predators as pets are not isolated incidents. For example, in Lahore, Pakistan, an escaped pet lion mauled a woman and 2 children, injuring multiple people. In May, when the Nanning Zoo chimp threw rocks and injured a tourist, the zoo management responded that they would not punish him, urging the public to respect animal nature. In the United States, privately owned tigers, lions, and other beasts cause dozens of attacks annually, mostly occurring after years of supposed domestication. To this day, the ongoing wildlife attacks worldwide all echo the exact same truth. When humanity ignores the true nature of wild animals, we will inevitably face the backlash of primal instinct. Now, having witnessed these horrific cases of keeping apex predators as pets, would you still be willing to pay the ultimate price to keep a wild beast in your home?